Good morning, my friends. It's Brekky In The Cave, and we are live inside the building. Oh, yes. Kicking off with something fresh from Luciano and Jesse Royal. Bit flustered today. We'll let you know all about it in just a second or so. For now, though, this one, we're going to let you know about the guests, what we're talking about, loads of stuff in a few minutes. But for now, just hit that like button, hit subscribe, and let's get the show cracking.
Eternity for years, decades, and centuries. Elevating humanity with music of integrity. And though the road has been so long, dreadlock. Restless in the heat, we all need a place of peace. Cold world tries to take your soul, we all need a hand to hold it. And that is where the reggae music coming. Love is the kingdom skanking with the queens, giving praise to Jah and burning Babylon with chains, slipping them feet up in the seas of unity. So I have nothing they can do to stop this music. Nothing at all can do, nothing at all. And nothing they can do to cramp our style. Nothing they can do to cramp our style. So there is nothing they can do to stop Jaja music. Nothing at all can do, nothing at all. And nothing they can do to spoil our style. Nothing they can do to cramp that is style. Our utmost for his highness, and that conquers darkness. So I and I must manifest. And though the road is been so long.
Right then, sounds of Luciano and Jesse Royal on this one. Fantastic start to the show. Yeah, we're live on Cubcam TV, on Trickstar Radio, and about 1,000 other places. Getting straight into it today. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button if you are enjoying the show. Of course, hit the like button as well. Let us know where you're looking in from. Let's have a conversation this morning because we've got some fantastic guests on the way. We're going to be talking to Murder He Wrote, one of the most exciting and most consistent UK funky artists currently working in and around the UK, putting out some amazing music with some fantastic collaborations. We're going to be talking about the work he's been doing, the different label bits he's been working on as well. We're going to be talking through the project over the last few years, the sort of re-arrival of funky and how it's been almost redistributed across the UK in different formats. So I'm really looking forward to that conversation. That's one I've been it's definitely one I've been looking forward to having for a hot minute. As well as that, we are going to be talking to Cal from OnTheWax, Cal Sorensen. We're going to be talking about the importance of setting up online written content more than anything else. Having that written outlet to kind of review music as much as anything else, and then obviously give it an additional platform in an additional format. We're going to be talking about OnTheWax as a label as well, what they've got in the works, the future plans, and what Cal's up to in general as well. So there's going to be loads for us to discuss. I'm really looking forward to today's show because we've got some bangers to play as well all the way through. We've got some interesting news bits. We're going to be taking a look at one of the most interesting deodorant types I've ever seen. You'll understand more when we get into the conversation about it, but there we go. As well as that, we are going to be launching a couple of extra videos this evening. My afternoon is literally jam-packed with recording sessions. We're going to be recording something with Danny Jack. We're going to be doing a new kind of series where we review older music from musicians, and then we're going to be doing another food review. We're going to be talking to Jerk and Waffle, I believe is the name of the place, and they do essentially jerk chicken with waffles and loads of wholesome sides. So we're going to be talking to those guys guys, as well. Well, I say talking, I mean eating the grub, because I haven't had a takeaway in months. So the last takeaway I had was actually Sangsa, which we did the review for. So maybe that's what I'm going to do from now on. Just only do takeaways of food I can review. Maybe that's my future. Just reviewing food on YouTube from around Brighton. Maybe that's what I'm going to do in my life. Who knows? Who knows what anyone's going to do with their life post lockdown, which seems to be becoming closer and closer as the days go past, which is very interesting to kind of look at. We're seeing a lot of restrictions being eased. Obviously, I'm really looking forward to seeing my friends again. I'm still trying to be as careful and cautious as possible. But yeah, it's going to be exciting to kind of be able to want to kind of have those conversations with friends again, meet up with people in person. I've only actually spoken to 4 people in person since lockdown started. So there we go. I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping I haven't lost the ability to communicate with people in real life. I'm hoping I'm not going to randomly bump into people and then suddenly just go and not be able to talk at all. But we'll see as we kind of go. You know, it's going to be a bit of a transitional process for everyone. And I think as well, something I have seen floating around is a lot of people aren't going to be ready to suddenly start coming out just yet. You know, a lot of people aren't going to be ready for it. A lot of people are going to be scared. They're going to be cautious. They're going to want to be careful. So please don't kind of push people into going outside just because it's suddenly available, because I think actually if we steadily introduce people to going back into their sort of normal routines, it's actually going to make things a lot smoother in the long run. That's my opinion on it anyway. So we've got loads of bangers to play this morning. Loads of stuff which I'm really excited to get into. We're going to play this one first from Eskimo. This one alongside an artist called Theo. Really looking forward to this one. As I've said before, if you are locking in this morning, please do make sure you are throwing a comment in the live chat. I'd love to hear from you all. Let us know where you're locking in from. Let us know who you're most excited for on the show. Let us know who if you've got any questions for any of the guests that we do have on the way. As I said before, from 10:30, we're going to be talking to Murder He Wrote, and then from 11, we're going to be talking to OnTheWax. So it's going to be a really cool combination of flavors. Obviously, OnTheWax are as artists are more so, as a label, are more so focused obviously in D&B and the more grittier side of electronic music. Murder He Wrote obviously focusing a lot more on UK funky and more sort of percussive, vibrant flavors, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where the conversations go, to be honest with you. It's going to be a good one. Before we kick off though, let's just get into a few messages. Of course, you can check me out on socials, as you can see in the top right hand corner, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and as well as that SoundCloud as well. You can get all of those at Cub KXVU, thanks to my fancy telly in the top right hand corner. You can also check out the podcast for this show if you haven't already. We are obviously live on Trickstar Radio, but you can also check us out on Spotify, Apple Music, and SoundCloud. If you're only interested in the interviews, you can check those out there. We cut all the music out and pretty much just sit down and have the discussions with people in more long form. As well as that, a word from our sponsors, Sharpen Digital. Again, the official sponsors for this show, the alternative to hiring social media managers. They help out this channel a lot with SEO and any bits of information. Really, really good company. Would definitely recommend giving them a check out. And also, of course, hit that subscribe button so you can enjoy the shows more often. Also, turn on notifications just so you can see when we're going live. We do this Monday to Friday, you know, saying we ain't playing around. And I think we started this morning on 462 subscribers. And obviously, by the end of lockdown, our aim is to be sat on 500, which is, I think we've got like 2 weeks and we're only about 40 away. We've gone up 70 in the last week and a half, so if we can get to that 100 by the end of this week, that'd be amazing. So if you are locking in for the first time, please do make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. And yeah, we've got loads of sweet music on the way. This one, as I said before, coming from Eskimo, track entitled Maybe, featuring Theo. Don't go anywhere. It's Brekky In The Cave. We're live on Cubcam TV and Trickstar Radio.
Step to the next side, making her feel like a very special guest night. Maybe I send her to the west side. Now she can't help that her life was a sweet life. We can say it twice, but we've been avoiding for a very long time. Seem to say it high, but you got it wrong tonight. Lately I cannot get the same high, trying so hard, but you still think all the same way. Keeping you closer than the last guy, but you're running faster like you're moving past the hard times. Need to tell you why, cause it's causing all these stupid feelings inside. Love you when I try, but you got it wrong tonight.
Wicked tune, this one. Eskimo featuring Theo. Live on Cubcam TV and Trickstar Radio, of course.
Yo, this is Ellie Sabine Singh, and you're listening to Breakfast with KXVU.
These days I can't escape the hope that maybe you will change. So I wait in icy rain to numb these thoughts of pain. I'm not the type to spend my time questioning things with tear-filled eyes, but I'm not satisfied with the loops of you playing in my mind. I don't know how to think or feel. With you I have no sense of what is real, 'cause all you do for thrills. So when the sun is hanging low and the air takes on a golden glow, won't you say something that I don't know?
Beautiful stuff. Fabulous tune, that one, coming to us from Eskimo featuring Theo. Out to the Pit LDN for sending that one over. They're making some fantastic link-ups at the moment. I'm loving the stuff they're sending over into the old inbox. Really cool stuff, and an amazing tune, and that's what we like to hear. Here on Brekky In The Cave. Out to my locked-in crew this morning. Obviously, we are trying to build this channel up into something very, very special, and lockdown has been giving us the opportunity to do so. It's in a good place so far. I'm liking the fact we started lockdown, I think, on around 35, 40 subscribers, something like that. We're now on 460, so we've done that in just over 13 weeks, which I'm really happy with the growth of. If we carry on like that, we'll be on 2,000 by the end of the year, which I'd absolutely adore. I'd love to have a 2,000 follower channel, especially as things start to reopen. We're going to be doing a lot more sort of outdoor reviewsy stuff. We're going to be doing hopefully a few more live shows, going and reviewing stuff that's happening backstage, going and talking to more artists, and hopefully getting some festival passes as well. Would be really cool to kind of do some more than anything else, catch some live coverage of people at festivals. That would be something that I'd really, really enjoy doing. So these are all things that hopefully are going to happen over the course of the next year. It's not likely we're going to have many festivals pop in this year, but next year is something that's very likely indeed. We're obviously going to try and catch some stuff for BMC as well. And yeah, going to try and just do as much as possible in regards to building the channel, growing it, making it more accessible to people, obviously having more and more content on here. A lot of the subscriber base has come from reaction videos as well, so we're going to be doing more of those and kind of breaking stuff down, not in a kind of oh my god, it's music kind of way as well. We're going to be breaking stuff down with a bit more of an analytical, I can't say that word, analytical approach in regards to kind of like breaking down why music's working in a certain way, like sort of chord structures and things like that, which I really enjoy doing. I enjoy breaking down music. It's a blessing and a curse, and I can't get away from it. But let's jump into our first bit of news today then. Now, this is something I'm finding very unusual, and I've seen the advert popping up on a couple of different websites. And it's a real thing, and because it's a real thing, I've got to talk about it. Lynx have launched Africa and Marmite as a flavour. There is now Marmite flavoured hair. I think it's not. Is it hair stuff? No, or it's body wash. There is Marmite flavoured body wash, and the tagline for it is "Love the smell of Marmite on toast in the morning." I do, but I don't want to smell of Marmite on toast because I think that's quite like a. It's a bit weird, really, isn't it? I mean, considering Marmite's tagline is you either love it or hate it, that's pretty much, you're guaranteeing some people aren't going to like the way you smell. Now, that's not really something I'd like to go for in life, you know? I'd rather smell completely neutral than smell like something that people openly don't like and is part of the branding of the product that they don't like. It's very bizarre. Like, does anyone actually like the smell of Marmite? I don't particularly like the smell of Marmite. I like how it tastes, but I'm not a massive... I've never been like, Marmite, it's never done that to me. Very interesting stuff, though. But yeah, this is launched. It's in Superdrug. You can go and grab it now. You can go and grab Lynx Africa and Marmite. As well as that, it's combined. Let's have a little look through the Let's kind of look through some of the features of this product, and this is off the Superdrug website. It says, well, now you can savor it even before you get to your breakfast table in the shower to help you make your morning routine that little bit more interesting. Lynx has teamed up with Marmite. The result: limited edition Lynx Africa and Marmite. The thing is, Lynx Africa is a very potent, recognizable smell anyway that most of us lads will recognize from our childhood when we had that sort of brief period where Lynx Africa was all we wore. That That was just a thing that happened. The same way there was a period where near enough everyone I knew had a Game Boy of some kind. There was a period of time where everyone had Call of Duty. There was a period of time where everyone had the same flipping haircut. That's just something that happens when you're growing up. But I don't think if you're mixing the smell of Lynx Africa, this really essentially iconic smell, with Marmite, that wouldn't be my first thing of how can we improve Lynx Africa? I don't know, let's throw a condiment on it. Very, very bizarre. But let's listen to the description of this one. Experience all the warm, zesty intensity of our best-selling fragrance combined with the savory scent of mouth-watering Marmite in this one-of-a-kind body cleanser. You're cleansing your body in Marmite. Okay. What's best is the irresistible fragrance of Africa, and Marmite is suitable for him, for her, for all the lovers, love or hate it. Buy this limited edition body wash now that leaves you feeling fresh and rejuvenated. At Lynx, we believe that a great start to the day starts with a great shower, and there's no greater shower than a Lynx shower. You might not conquer the world after it, but, okay, damage limitation straight from the off, but you'll sure feel like you can. Actually, you might just give it a try. Whatever you decide, remember that Lynx is always on your side. It's getting very odd. Use this use this in the shower as a daily cleanser instead of soap. Directions: squeeze bottle, lather shower gel onto body, rinse off. Warning: use only for skin. Do not be tempted to spread it on your toast. There we go. What is going on in the world where people are spreading flavoured shower gel on their toast? Because someone's done that, or at least they think someone is going to do it. If that's what's happening, if they've had to put a precursor warner in there, that you're warner, I don't know, that I'm fizzled by the fact that there is Marmite shower gel. But yeah, if they've had to put that precursor in that you're not supposed to spread it on toast, what is happening in this world? What is going on where you what? Anyway, let's move on before I lose my head. Let's get into this one then. Brand new music from Lost City and Ward 21. This one did drop. It drops this Friday via Juno Download. This one did pop up in me. It popped up in my reviews, so I had to put some words down about it. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to play this on the show. It's an absolute banger. Right then, friends, don't go anywhere. We're live on Cubcam TV. It's Brekky in the Cave, and my rant about Marmite is over. Let me know your thoughts, though, if you are locked in. Let me know if you'd be tempted by a Marmite body spray. Not even a spray. It's not even a spray, you know. It is a Marmite body gel. Cover yourself in Marmite, my friends.
Lost City. Lion dog. Problem. Mad family. Who them youth, yeah? 121. And them a shooter. A true? Yes. Yeah. Sycamore, brains overload. No mess with me meds, you will get peace aboard. Stole we nothing, and we no sling sword. Just like data up your grains we upload. Sycamore, brains overload. No mess with me meds, you will get peace aboard. Stole we nothing, and we no sling sword. Just like data up your grains. Them a go like them a Hulk. Angle them arm, green them a strong, them a Bruce. We slam the yama, string them up, give them a noose. Inna your mama, you feel choking at the post. The blick a blammer, the nine next step on the loose. The whole of them dead, pussy run out of your shoes. The whole of them dead, how we roll. Say gunshot and people man in a grave. No. That if you remember me Jing. Tell me how you bad and you're not afraid away. Only a business. That if you remember. Second shot and people body in a grave. That if you remember me G. Shot about your wicked, you're not afraid away. Only a business. That if you remember. Sycamore. Brains over. Man a no idiot. Man a no bass. Slap a shot inna your face. Make it drop inna your plate. New York man them shake place like earthquake. Drop asleep and you know wake. Gunshot it a bake. No tech talk so there is no debate. Try don't violate. Brains won't separate. Don't think a joke. Test me fate. 9 Say gunshot and people man in a grave. No. That if you remember me Jing. Tell me how you bad and you're not afraid away. Only a business. That if you remember. Say gunshot and people body in a grave. That if you remember me G. Shot about your wicked, you're not afraid away. That if you remember.
Anytime we bust it, them a dance. The pussy them never know we so sick at a glance. Rang young, them a fight, ayy. Them a fight, ayy. Oh, them so bright.
Sounds of Lost City and Ward 21 on this one.
Top off the wall, tired.
Proper spicy banger.
Ayy. Bring in a cleaner, take the body out of sight, ayy. Out of sight, ayy. Out of sight, yeah. We run, we black. That's how you left your tribe, ayy. I know your pants full of shite. We sturdy and we firm. Pussy no, now we no slide, ayy.
Say gunshot and people body no green.
No.
That if you remember me jing. Tell me how you bad and you're not afraid of it.
Only a business.
That if you remember. Say gunshot and people body no green.
No.
That if you remember me jing.
Kaboom.
Shot bout your wicked, you're not afraid of it. That if you remember. That if you remember.
Absolute saucy piece of business, this one, coming to us from Lost City and Ward 21. What an absolute banger this one is. I'm a big fan of this type of dancehall, man. Like proper electronic, futuristic dancehall flavors. That's what I'm all about. That's what I love to hear. And this is a tune that I want to hear on the system. Right here, yeah. This is the type of tune that I am that makes me want to go back into venues and clubs. I want to hear this on a system straight away. You know what it is? I might even play a few sets for free, just so that I can play some of this new dancehall stuff that I've seen popping over the last few weeks. The amount of good dancehall music and good reggae music that's been dropping over the last month has been outstanding. There's a new Nice Up Records release this Friday, which I can't wait to see drop. Some amazing music on there. It's essentially a compilation. I think there's a couple of new bits on there as well. But when you sit down and look at all of this new banging reggae music they've got dropping, it's really something quite special to behold, I've got to say. But yeah, let's crack on then with a second bit of news this morning. I've just realised I went pretty much all the way. I did like 3 links off that first bit of about Links Africa, but there we go. Ironically, many links. Let's have a look at this though. Siri shortcut developed to auto-record police encounters. Now this is interesting. Something that I think a lot of people will find quite useful and will feel a bit more reassured about happening, which I'm very, very excited to see. Let's have a little look through this bit of news then. In recent years, videos have been going viral, and these have been the main source in exhibiting police brutality. With this being found to be useful, a shortcut is being developed to auto-record encounters with the police. The shortcut begins once you say, "Hey Siri, I'm getting pulled over," and from there it will begin the process. It will dim your phone, pause any music, and start recording from your front-face camera. As well as this, it will send a location and a copy of your video to an emergency contact. This is great. Robert Peterson, the creator of the shortcut, published it in 2018, but has since seen a huge interest following the project, the protests after the police killing George Floyd, of course. Let's look through this. Peterson says the shortcut is essentially the same as the body cameras worn by police officers. He says, "It seemed to me if you're getting pulled over, it couldn't hurt just to have the recording of the incident," and that's very true. And I think this is a very good idea from whoever is developing it. I know Robert Peterson is Robert Peterson the guy who's actually developed it, hopefully. But yeah, to get started, the iPhone must be updated to at least iOS 12. Then you visit a link which you can find on the website. I'm reading this off GRM Daily, on the mobile device, and download the shortcut. At the moment, there isn't an Android version, but there are similar shortcuts on the Play Store. So there we go. Interesting stuff. Very useful bit of news, this. So there you go. You can, if you head over to GRM Daily and click on the Siri shortcut developed link, you can literally download this to your phone straight away. And then if you say, "Hey Siri, I'm being pulled over," it'll automatically start recording, and you'll be able to literally see exactly what happens whenever you get police encounters. I think this is a great idea, and I think it's again, it gets away from this thing of kind of going, I need to get my phone out and record before I start doing this, and it gets rid of a lot of the kind of the fuss and fumbling which could maybe escalate the situation if you're you're not feeling like if you're not feeling super in the zone about things, you know, I think this is a really good thing. And I think overall we're going to start seeing more and more stuff like this to essentially protect public safety. Being completely honest, I think that's what this is. This is an app designed to protect public safety, and I'm absolutely all for it. So let's crack on then. We've got some more bangers to play today. We're also going to be looking, of course, to this conversation with Murder He Wrote, which is going to be coming up in how long are we looking? We're going to be talking in about 5 minutes or so. Yeah, we're going to be jumping on the line with him in about 5 minutes or so. So for the time being, let's jump into a banger, shall we? I think that's a good idea. If anyone else is in agreement, I think jumping into bangers is what we like to do here on the show. I've got this one from Hypho and Jacra, I believe it's pronounced. This one goes by the name of Style Me Guide. Now, this one is coming to us alongside Ryder Shafiq. This is part of a new EP from the pair of them. I can't remember where it's dropping. It might be Encrypted Audio, but I'm not entirely sure. This one, again, dropping on Friday. This was one of my... one of my Juno selections, as obviously I'm lucky enough to do writing and reviews for Juno downloads, so occasionally I get some good new music in, and I'll get to hear things early. It's great fun. But yeah, we're going to get into this one now, really looking forward to it, and then we're going to be jumping on the line with man like Murder He Wrote. I am so excited for this conversation, man. I've been a big fan of Murder He Wrote for a hot minute. I've been loving the new music he's been putting out there. The Afro B remix that we saw popping quite recently, we were supporting heavily on this show, and to be honest, I'm just really liking the fact that artists such as Murder He Wrote really are pushing that original UK funky sound to new levels, and I think it's going to be very exciting to kind of look through what's inspired him over the years, the sort of earlier production projects he was working on, and how he's got to where he is now, and obviously talking through that link up with Afro B, talking through some of this new music he sent me over. There's some bangers in the drive. I've got to say, there are some bangers on the way. Out to man like Majora joining us this morning. But yeah, how are you doing, sir? It's been a minute since we spoke. Thanks for locking into the show, of course. Any new listeners, any new people wanting to check out the show, please do hit the like button on the video. Makes a huge difference to the reach. The more people we get in here, obviously, the more the channel grows, and that can be done very easily if we keep pressing the like button on videos. The more likes we get on videos, the more it boosts the profile up on YouTube. So if you're locked in, do me a favor, throw a like on the video, as well as, of course, hitting the subscribe button, which you're going to see pop up down there below. There we go. Don't go anywhere, guys. We are live on Cubcan TV, alongside being live on Trickstar Radio, of course, the home station here in Brighton. So we're going to get into this one now and then jump on the line with man like Murder He Wrote. So don't go anywhere. Keep it locked. It's Brekky in the Cave.
Yeah. Ryder Shafiq, original, alongside Hypho and Shaka. You don't know, so we have style upon style. From the old school to the new school, how we rule every blood clot school. Set it. They can't study me, can't style me. Them not ready for this. Blow them mind. Yes, Hypho, Chakra. Them can't pattern me, no them can't style me. Them still a look but Babylon can't find me. I know anybody can't come join me. Them violate me, deal with them boy unkindly. Them can't pattern me, no them can't style me. Them still a look but Babylon can't find me. I know anybody can't come join me. Them violate me, deal with them boy unkindly. Badang badang bang, you can't style this. Me too stylish, born ragamuffin. You feel say I childish, big man something. Me don't do the mileage. No ramp fit touch a button if you disrespect the lineage. Boom, I couldn't me you want come.
Proper wonky flavours on this one, coming from Hypho and Jacra, featuring Ryder Shafiq. Very excited for this one, Style Me Guide, out this Friday. Going to be jumping on the phone with Murder He Wrote in literally just a second, so keep it locked. Oh yes.
Can't style me. Them still a look but Babylon can't find me. Cause I know anybody can come join me. Them violate me, deal with them boy unkindly. Them can't pattern me, no them can't style me. Them still a look but Babylon can't find me. Cause I know anybody can come join me. Them violate me, deal with them boy unkindly. Badang badang, them can't study me, them can't penny my style. Shafiq ever ready, say me well versatile. Make the bass heavy on the rhythm I ride. Let me bless it in a session, drive the people them wild. King in a the ring, me come for blow them mind. Me take away them wife, take away concubine.
I made a little bit of an error here. I've got my times mixed up. I've got OnTheWax on first, which is even better.
Rider Shafiq. Them can't study me, never. Can't conquer me. Can't penetrate the movement. That's strictly originality we are dealing with. You're done. Them can't pattern me, no them can't style me. Them still a look but Babylon can't find me. Cause I know anybody can come join me. Them violate me, deal with them boy unkindly. Them can't pattern me, no them can't style me. Them still a look but Babylon can't find me. Cause I know anybody can come join me. Them violate me, deal with them.
Hello, can you hear me?
Them can't pattern me, no them can't style me. Them still a look but Babylon can't find me. Cause I know anybody can come join me. Them violate me, deal with them boy unkindly. Them can't pattern me, no them can't style me. Them still a look but Babylon can't find me. Cause I know anybody can come join me. Them violate me, deal with them boy unkindly.
All right then, my friends, we are live here on Cubcam TV. We nearly had a mix up with the timings, but it was my fault entirely. But we're all sorted. We're going to be talking to a man like Murder He Wrote for the next 30 minutes or so, and he's on the line with us right about now. How are you doing, my friend?
Yeah, man, very good, very good. Very sunny morning here in Manchester. So yeah, just got back from the skate park, so a little bit in pain, a little bit tired, but yeah, a very nice start to the day.
There we go. That's what I like to hear, man. Thanks for thanks first of all for jumping on the line with us. I'm really excited to get into this conversation. Obviously, we've been discussing doing one of these. We've been discussing kind of doing one of these interviews for a hot minute, and I think this worked out really nicely, like time wise. So I think there's loads of stuff for us to discuss. Obviously, you've been quite busy during lockdown. You've had a lot of music pop. Like, how have you found the whole process?
Yeah, no, it's funny you say that because I felt like I've done nothing, but then or like I could have been doing more. You know, like I've kind of found it really hard to just sort of be in the right kind of mind frame to do anything that felt like worthwhile.
Yeah,
musically. But yeah, no, like, I got lucky with some nice remixes opportunities coming in, so that kind of kept me busy. Whereas, yeah, like I said, I guess I was just struggling writing solo stuff. But yeah, I did a remix that you supported obviously a lot, the Afro B and T-Pain one. And I've got some other remixes that I've given you to play incoming, so we'll talk about them later, I guess. But
awesome, man. I mean, the thing is, obviously, I think when you're in the kind of zone of this lockdown, I think the big term from this isolation period is the term isolation. Obviously, we're not really comparing our stuff. We're not really out there like going, oh, what have you done? What have you done? What have you done? Like da. We've been quite internalized, I feel, as people during this time period, and everyone spent a lot of time, obviously, on their own and kind of going, am I doing enough? I'm not sure if I'm doing enough. And I think, like that's definitely something I've fallen victim of. I've kind of been sat here going, I've got 10 minutes spare. There's no way I'm doing enough. And like I think kind of with that feeling of like as you just said, you felt like you hadn't really been doing much. I think you see from where I'm sitting, it seems like you've done a fair bit.
Yeah, I think yeah, it's just a weird one. I guess like because time seems to be moving so strangely at the moment, I think that sort of feeds into it as well. Like where do these weeks go? And you know, certain things like, oh, I want to have this project finished by, you know, whenever, and then suddenly a whole month has gone past and it hasn't. But I think like I'm sort of out the other side of the kind of creative block, and I know I was starting a lot of projects, so I'm kind of like this week going back through everything I've made, even if it's just like a nice drum loop or something, and I'm hoping that that'll be the catalyst to getting some stuff actually done, because starting a million projects isn't that useful in the end, like, unless you actually do something with the beats. So
okay, cool. I mean, it's interesting to hear, and obviously you're someone who works very kind of closely in that more sort of UK funky realm, and obviously the surrounding genres to that as well. I mean, how have you found the period for like kind of finding new music? Have you spent much time kind of just like surfing around looking for stuff, or has it been pretty much a full-on sort of studio experience for yourself?
Yeah, do you know what? I mean, to be honest, like, looking back on it, maybe that's part of the reason why I was struggling, because I wasn't really, I wasn't checking promos, I wasn't really digging, wasn't listening to radio shows. So I think, in a way, you can kind of, you get out what you put in, and if you're not kind of listening to stuff that inspires you or listening to much music at all, I guess that's probably why I've struggled a bit. But yeah, I'm not too sure really, but like that's been another fun thing as well, like just suddenly actually getting back on it, looking at my emails, like seeing all this great music, and going back through DMs, even if I've been very slow on it, like to find all this wicked stuff. Like, it is nice having that backlog. So yeah, that's that's for next week.
Well, I was going to say, I think I could almost compare it to is kind of like going on holiday for a couple of weeks and then coming back and realizing how many like series and like episodes of things you've got to kind of catch up on and watch. Like it's always an exciting feeling getting like like looking at your inbox and seeing like 4 or 5 promos you haven't seen.
Yeah, no, definitely. And also like I kind of, this year was like nice and busy till lockdown happened for gigs and stuff, so I was kind of out a lot. I just got back from Australia when they like finally kicked in lockdown over here, but so I'd kind of been a bit slack on promos anyway, and just focusing on sort of my own sort of edits and originals and stuff like that. So like there is like almost a 6-month backlog of stuff to catch up on.
Wow.
So,
I mean,
nice.
I was going to say that must be an enjoyable dive. We'll say, like from time to time, just kind of go, look at all this new music I've got. And just kind of swimming around like
definitely.
What's his name? Swimming around like is it Scrooge McDuck, the one that swims in the gold in the gold coins? Just promos everywhere. But, okay, cool. So let's kind of obviously with these interviews, I like to keep them quite linear in regards to the sort of layout of them, and obviously yourself, you're someone who is very kind of unique in your approach. Now, I kind of want to go back to the sort of like the earlier sort of times for yourself. Like, have you always been very much set on the sort of UK funky sound, or have you kind of experimented in a lot of other areas to get where you are now?
Well, like I started off with like hearing drum and bass, so that was what kind of got me into electronic music when I was maybe, I don't know, like 13 or something, going to youth club and hearing like the older people DJ that. So probably for like, I don't know, maybe 10 years even, like drum and bass was everything to me. And then I guess when dubstep came through, that was just quite interesting. Already I'd been sort of experimenting, making different tempos, and I think as well, like because drum and bass is so hard to make, it does set you up quite nicely for doing other stuff. Like it feels a bit easier in some ways.
Definitely. And
also obviously being slower, having more room for groove, which you don't have as much when you're up at 174 type thing. So yeah, I kind of went drum and bass, dubstep, then kind of UK funkiest stuff, but I kind of, because I didn't really know much about UK funky, I always felt like a bit like weird to sort of class my stuff as it, because even though like looking back it definitely was, but when you're kind of like, I don't want to sort of try and force myself into someone else's scene, if you know what I mean.
Of course, yeah.
But then Roscoe picked up and has been a massive support of my music since I guess 5 years ago or something. So yeah, that's kind of it really. Drum and bass, and then getting slower and slower.
I mean, I think the interesting thing here is you're saying with rhythm and sort of like pockets of rhythm and what you can do with it. I think that's where this becomes interesting, because obviously you are possibly one of the most kind of rhythmically influenced producers I feel currently working in if we say the UK bass music scene as a whole. There's always interesting grooves. Obviously with UK funky as a genre, there's always a lot of kind of percussive influences and a lot of movement. element. And I think it's interesting to kind of hear your journey as to how you got that being like such a front running element in your production.
Yeah, I suppose I never really thought of it, but it does make sense in that, obviously drum and bass, you're cutting up old funk breaks and speeding them up and rearranging them, and then, going back slower, like, again, sort of just the idea of messing with rhythmic patterns until you've got something cool that feels fresh. Like, a lot of my newer stuff is kind of a lot more like broken beat influence, kind of like a lot more, not like, obviously still like a programmed drum, but kind of, as I say, really going in on funk breaks and just trying to create grooves like that. And that's been fun, and yeah, kind of just like harks back to what I started off doing or trying to do, but maybe a bit more technically adept now.
I mean, I think it's really, really cool to kind of listen through, and obviously you can tell by the way you speak about like these sort of things that you really kind of, you take a real kind of genuine, almost kind of like fanboy interest in those sort of in the sort of technical side of rhythm. That's the kind of impression I'm getting.
Yeah, like, well, I mean, I definitely don't have like traditional training or anything, and I'm awful if you put a drum kit in front of me, but it's just really fun trying to sort of get your head around like what a beat is doing. Like, sometimes if you like deconstruct like a drum pan that you love, and then it will be like a lot simpler than you realize. It's almost like your brain's tricked into hearing other sounds and stuff. So yeah, it's just kind of like working out how people are doing what they're doing, and then working out how you can then maybe transpose that into a different genre or whatever. Just ripping people off, basically.
Well, I'm not going to call. I won't say ripping off. What I'll say is that I'll say it's being heavily influenced by and putting your own spin on. That's what we'll do. Can you tell I work in PR? But we've got some amazing music to play this morning. What we're going to do is we're going to kick off with this tune from yourself. This one is a remix of a Z Bias tune alongside Children of Zeus. So talk to me about this one. It goes by the name of Friend.
So this was a real honour to get to do, obviously. I love what Children of Zeus do. Absolutely love what Zed Bias does. I mean, he's like one of the probably... In fact, I was realising only like this year, but like pretty much every year for as long as I can remember, he'll have come through with one of my favourite tracks of the year. Like, maybe it's under a different alias or whatever, but he's so consistently thick across like a lot of different genres and stuff. So yeah, like when I moved up to Manchester, he was like, I'll come through the studio, played me the original of this, and I was like, oh, this is amazing. He's like, oh, do you want to remix it? So I was like, hey, that would be cool. So yeah, that was towards the end of last year. And yeah, the remix came together really easily, which was nice. It was just one of those ones where the vocals so like strong, both vocals, that all you really need to do is get some nice drums going and the sort of thing writes itself. So
there we go.
It's coming out sometime next month. That's about it.
There we go. Awesome, man. I'm looking forward to getting into this one. We're going to run a quick preview of this one, and then we're going to get back into the conversation. Out to the locked-in crew this morning. As I said before, we are live on Cubcam TV and Trickstar Radio. Out to Man Like Murder, he wrote on the phone. If you are locked in, please throw a like on the video. Makes a massive difference to the channel. And, of course, if you are locked in for the first time, please do hit that subscribe button as well. Don't go anywhere, my friends.
Someone who you know you can depend on. Someone who's worth the time. Yeah. And you can say they never try to do you wrong, but then you got a friend. Yeah. Someone who you know you can depend on. Someone who's worth the time. Yeah. You can say they never try to do you wrong. There's no one
friends, we're back inside the building. It's Brekky In The Cave. Well, you can see I haven't left the building. I've been sat here the entire time, but we're back on the microphone, which is what matters. Man Like Murder, He Wrote, is on the line with us this morning. Really looking forward to this as a conversation. It's one that I've had in the book for a while, and it's one that I've been really, really looking forward to because you have one of my favourite tunes of the year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Obviously we're going to be running like primarily new music today, but I'd be a fool if I didn't grab you for a second to talk about this Afro B remix, because obviously he's blowing up at the minute, and obviously T-Pain is one of I'd say T-Pain's one of the most influential sort of rap / R&B singers of the last sort of 20 years, quite easily, with what he's done. So how did it feel to kind of get on remix duty for the pair of them?
I mean, yeah, that was very mad. Like I was well, I think I just woke up one morning, saw I had a DM from his manager that just was like, oh, how much do you charge for a remix or something like that, and I was just like, oh, that's interesting, that would be so sick if it was for Afro B, because he had Drogba, which was one of the biggest tunes globally, 2 years ago at that point, and that's definitely still going, but yeah, so yeah, and then I remember saying to my girlfriend, imagine if it was that Afro B and T-Pain track, how mad would that be? And then like an hour or two later, it was like, yeah, do you want to remix this? I was like,
wow. What's the first thing that rushes through your head when you see that email? Because obviously there's a process when you're reading emails. You get the title and you go, oh, this looks interesting, and you get a bit excited as you open it, and then you kind of see the proposal and you go, oh wow. Like what was the kind of like thought process you went through when you were reading it?
Yeah, well, like I say, it kind of came in stages, so it was just like, yeah, shock. And then because like in my head I knew it was the next single they were going to be, or they'd already started pushing it as a single, so I kind of thought it could be that. So I kind of already in advance just put the original into Ableton and just sped it up just to feel what the vocal might sound like at that speed and blah blah blah, and just sort of work out what key it is in and all that. So I kind of, well, then also like then once it was it turned out it was that track, it was also like, oh, and can you do it in sort of 36 hours? So there wasn't really much time to sort of be too excited.
You don't have time to be happy, my friend. You got to get to work.
Yeah, which again I do quite like, very tight deadlines in a way, just because kind of you don't have room for self-doubt as much. You just kind of are like, oh shit, like I need to get on this like now. So yeah, like had a really late night, sent 2 versions over that were like awful. And they were like, yeah, I'm not really feeling this, can you make it a bit like nicer? And then I realised what I had done was awful, because I've been in my sort of panic mode. Added some nice chords, kind of just rebuilt it from the ground up over the morning, and then they were like, yeah, this is sick. So yeah, it was a fun, weird, lacking in sleep sort of 2-day process, but I was really happy how it ended up as well, and so nice to be on a remix package which also has DJ Q, also has Rosca on, so it's just like nice hearing everyone's take on it, and yeah, I came away feeling like quite proud of what I've done. So
amazing,
nice.
Man. I mean, it's sick to see, and it's sick to kind of hear, because obviously kind of looking from a lot of your projects as well, you're someone who does like a remix quite clearly.
Yeah, definitely. I think they're just, I just love working with vocals, first of all, but I'm quite slow on reaching out to people and sorting it myself, so I probably manage like a couple of vocal projects a year of my own. But yeah, I just love, it's just such a fun thing to do, like taking someone's tune in a different direction, and whether you do something really like interesting and flip it on its head, like in terms of the vibe, or whether you just sort of amp up what's already there. It's just like such a fun like jigsaw puzzle thing to be doing,
Definitely, man. I think that approach as well, and being very kind of like, I'm gonna completely switch things up with this, and kind of put, and almost to an extent kind of like do a transformer on it, and kind of just completely rearrange it into a different shape with the same elements.
Yeah, like, and I kind of it's definitely doing remixes has helped me do my own vocal project, like with other artists as well, because of kind of realizing, just because you've recorded, I mean, most of my projects will start off on a totally different beat, maybe a totally different arrangement, maybe a chorus isn't the chorus, but then sort of like looking at what you've got there of this original vocal and then rearranging it and sort of working out where the song is in the song. Like, it's really like just a fun process.
Awesome, man. Well, we're going to talk about a track from yourself, which isn't a remix next. This one goes by the name of I Got You, and we're going to jump into it in just a second. But first of all, can you like talk me through how the tune came together, like what the sort of themes are with it, what's happening with it, if there are any plans with it? Let's go.
Well, yeah, this is a bit of a departure from what I normally make. It's pretty much like a straight Filter House banger. But this was probably, or maybe is the only like track I've managed to make over lockdown. And I was kind of thinking, maybe I'll do it under a new alias. Maybe I'll do something. Maybe then after a while, maybe I'll just leave it. Maybe it's not any good. But then I kind of posted a clip up of it on Instagram with some tour footage and stuff. And like also seeing it with a video, it's like, this is like a real kind of nice vibe and kind of actually exactly what's needed right now, like in terms of the dark, depressing times we're in. So it just in the end I felt, you know what, I'm just going to put this out, see what happens, and as a single. So that comes out on Friday, and then I'm sort of building a whole EP around it, which is going to come out maybe this time next month, but it all depends. I've got some vocals to record, blah blah blah. Let's get into it. Let's get into
it, man. Awesome, man. Well, I'm looking forward to getting into this one. As I said before, Locked In crew, please throw a like on the video if you are enjoying the conversation. As I said before, it makes a huge difference to the growth of the channel, which is what we're trying to do. You know, we're trying to make, we're trying to do some growing down here. Of course, hit subscribe as well if it's your first time locking in. Let's get into this one. Murder He Wrote, I Got You. Super fun flavours on this one, almost disco-y in a way, which is really enjoyable to see. That one going by the name of I Got You. We're live on Cubcam TV. It's Brekky In The Cave. Out to my locked in crew this morning, out to the 3000 base crew, of course, on the right hand side, out to Majora as well. If you are locked in, do send us a signal, let us know where you're listening in from, and if you've got any specific questions you'd like me to ask, either Murder He Wrote or On The Wax this afternoon, this morning. We're live. What am I talking about? But let's crack on. Let's kind of crack on then, because obviously you're in a very kind of I think you're in a very kind of unique position within the kind of UK funky sort of circle, because you are so like closely associated with that sound. Like, do you feel to an extent you're a bit of a modern ambassador for the genre?
I don't know really. I've definitely, people have told me I should be. I kind of I don't know, to me that sounds a bit like too high pressure. I'd say more, I'm just trying to rep good music and like stuff that kind of fits in that sort of wider bracket of UK funky, and also it's really interesting, obviously, all the sort of global stuff, like, you know, stuff around the world that kind of has so much in common with it, but maybe grew up totally independent to it. So yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of people don't know what UK funky is. So I suppose I definitely hope I've at least helped a couple of people realise, oh, it's not like just boring house music. It is actually like fun and danceable. Because I think that's one thing that people, like, you know, just assume it means straight up funky house, like whatever that company's called with the certain head candy, you know, like, and it's not that. So I guess hopefully at least I'm spreading the word that it's not head candy.
There we go. I mean, it's. I think the interesting thing with your sound as well, it sits perfectly in the kind of bracket between kind of traditional and modernized. I think you've just got a really nice kind of bracket in which you work, which I think is what attracts so many people to your sound, and it's why it cuts through a lot of I don't want to say stereotypical funky, but I think that's why it appeals to so many different crowds and so many different audiences. And on that same discussion of crowds, like, obviously we've only got a few minutes left, so I want to make sure we cram a couple more questions in towards the end. In regards to sort of like live shows and things like that, obviously you're saying you're playing out a fair bit. What's the maddest thing you've seen at a live show you've been playing?
God, I don't know. I should probably. Do you know, I kind of just want to get back to you on that, because I'm sure there's like plenty of funny or awful things I've seen, but my mind's doing a blank. Let me think. Oh man, this is so boring. I literally can't think of anything. Do you know what? That's quite wholesome though. Yeah. You know what? It's just nice, good vibes. Nothing untoward. Honestly, just come out, come dancing. No worries.
I think okay. Let's just kind of switch it up then in regards to talking. In regards to obviously being in Australia, were you just over there for a relaxing one, or were you touring?
Yeah, touring. It was although like I kind of spaced it out, so it's kind of like a week between each gig, so it's like definitely half a holiday. Cool. But yeah, I went to Auckland in New Zealand, Sydney, Perth and Melbourne, which I've kind of done the last 2 years, done a trip that will kind of take in most of those places apart from New Zealand. So yeah, it's just like very fun out there, and also because this is the third year I've been out there, like it's so nice, like just linking up with people, like seeing their progression as artists, as DJs, and just just sort of hanging out as well, like in the sunshine in sort of January, February time. What could be better?
Yeah, man. I think as well as that, like obviously that thing of going abroad to play shows, like that must be quite like an exciting feeling more than anything else.
Yeah, no, definitely. I feel like really lucky to have got to do the travelling I've done, and I suppose that's something I've really taken stock of over the last couple of months, like when it's kind of hard to imagine what like the future looks like in terms of touring and stuff, and even just in terms of air travel being at an okay price where it even makes sense to book smaller artists. So yeah, I feel very lucky to have got to go so many places, and especially even like this year getting to go to Netherlands for the first time, Germany for the first time, and then obviously New Zealand for the first time. Like that's very sick. So even if it does all end tomorrow, no more travel for me, then I feel very lucky.
Yeah, you've been kind of been blessed in regards to getting around, which is sick to see. Okay, cool. Well, we're going to finish up there. We've got one more tune to play, which comes from yourself. It's another remix. This one goes by the name of Take Time, featuring Ryder Shafiq, and I believe is it Idle Minds Workshop on the original.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So there's some sick producers out of Melbourne, and this is coming out in maybe 3 or 4 weeks' time, I think. And the original, which is Wicked, is out this Friday.
Awesome, man. So in regards to sort of like stuff on the way, we've got about a minute left, so I want to squeeze this question in. In regards to sort of projects on the way from yourself, what can we look forward to in the near future?
Well, as I say, I'm building another EP around I Got You. Again, plug, drops on Friday. So I've got a vocal recorded with Jessica Wilde, who I previously collabed with on Love last year, which was probably one of my, certainly on Spotify, probably my biggest tune so far. And yeah, just kind of experimenting with various sounds. I'm collabing with High Class Filter. Well, I've not quite finished it. A collab with EVM 128. I'm trying to do a lot more collabs generally, actually. And also finally, at some point soon, a VIP of Worthwhile, which I did with Logan, which came out on 140 back in December. So yeah,
awesome, man. I'm looking forward to it. We're gonna finish up with this one then. This is obviously Idle Minds Workshop featuring Ryder Shafiq, your remix of Take Time. Dude, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. One time, quickly, what is the best social media tag for people to get hold of you on?
Murder_he_wrote, and yeah, big up for having me on, man. It's been fun.
No worries at all, man. We'll get you back on in the near future as well. I'm looking at. I'm very excited to see what projects are bubbling away, and yeah, we'll speak soon.
Wicked.
Lovely stuff. Don't go anywhere, guys. We're live on Cubcam TV. It's Brekky In The Cave. We're going to be talking to Cal from OnTheWax in just a second.
Idle Minds Workshop Production.
Murder, he wrote.
Right. Big up the everything alright, everything cop. I said, yeah, man, everything nice, everything blessed. Me ain't nothing too high, just cool and calm, easy, take time. Wagwan, everything alright, everything cop. I said, yeah, man, everything nice, everything blessed. Me ain't nothing too high, just cool and calm. Me I go and live life.
Right there, my friends, we are live on Cubcam TV. Massive shouts out to Murder He Wrote for the last half an hour. Wicked interview. Really good to chat to him. I'm sure we'll be getting him on very soon. And of course, supporting all the music he's sending over. And that's what we like to do here on the show. You know, we like to support musicians. We like to kind of give people an alternative platform, not just a radio station as much, but somewhere people can come and just have conversations, you know, sit down and have a bit of a look into what they're doing and what they've been doing over the years. Let's get into our next interview then. Man like Cal from OnTheWax is on the line. How are you doing, my friend?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good. How you doing?
I'm good, sir. I'm good. You were saying pretty much as soon as we picked up the phone how nice it is outside. How have you been finding the sunshine?
Yeah, good, mate. Absolutely roasting at the moment. I've got fucking massive windows, so it's getting a nice little tan at the moment. But yeah, mate, enjoying the sun, especially now it's kind of we're a bit more free to kind of move around with the lockdown and stuff. So yeah, mate, it's been nice. How you been finding it?
Yeah, to be honest, man, I've been very much in a way I've been trying to shield as much as possible. Like, I've been trying to be very responsible with things. Like, so I've barely left my house, being completely honest with you. Like, I've left my house about 8 times, and every single one was for shopping, bar going to the Black Lives Matter march a couple of weeks ago. So I'm excited to kind of start seeing things happen again, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, mate, I don't think I've ever worked so much. Literally picked up two jobs at the start of lockdown, just kind of on a whim. In terms of I've literally been doing cycling deliveries. So that's been like my son basically. So that's been kind of Nice to keep busy anyway.
Definitely,
especially
man.
with everything that's going on.
I mean, the interesting thing with this is I'm finding a lot of people have actually been more busy than they normally would be, which is that's definitely been the case for me. It's definitely been the case for a few friends as well, because obviously we've almost got this extra block of spare time, especially for those that were furloughed and obviously weren't able to do their normal job. A lot of them have just spent that time doing loads of completely different things, which has been sick to see. And I hope a lot of people come out of this kind of horrible scenario we've been in with kind of pluses they can take from it, as well as obviously all the negatives which are there.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's been so nice to see people kind of being able to take all the time to focus, like, pretty much solely on kind of their hobbies. Like, all the people that are kind of, like, with Cubcam TV, like, OnTheWax, all the stuff that people have kind of been doing, they may have been obviously working kind of full-time or whatever. Like, it's nice to see people, like, putting in the graft. And then, like, I've seen so many people getting results from what they're doing at the moment.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, have we got our first Breknical of the day? I think we may do. We may have our first Breknical of the day. There we go. Right, I'm going to bring him back. I think that's probably my end, to be honest with you. So I'm going to give him a quick bell back. Hopefully we don't do that thing where we cross calls and end up not being able to talk to each other for ages. There we go. He's back. There we go. We're all back. We're all good. So yeah, as you were saying, like, obviously everyone's kind of. It's good to see the results of what people are doing.
Yeah, it's nice to obviously. It's almost hard to say you can take positives from it, but it's nice that people are kind of seeing the result of that graft. And yeah, they're putting the time into it, and they're getting stuff out of it. And yeah, as you said, like, it's nice to, like, hopefully come out of this process and this kind of lockdown phase with stuff to show for it, and you can use that time to then input into that kind of, when you go back to your usual schedule, like, you've got all that effort you have put in, and like, a lot of people keep doing it and have kind of, those hobbies will be re-energized.
Yeah, I think a lot of I think a lot of the things that people have gained, I think a lot of people have gained life skills. I know that for sure. A lot of people
100%.
A lot of people have gained projects and hobbies, and I think it's going to be interesting to look at moving forward. But anyway, let's move on to yourself. Obviously, Mr. Carl Sorensen, someone who is very kind of very well respected, I feel, in the scenes we're kind of in. You're very much someone who obviously people know about OnTheWax. People know about it as a platform, as a blog, as a label. So I want to kind of go back to the sort of beginning for yourself. What was the first kind of involvement with music that you found yourself having?
Well, it's kind of always been. Obviously, like everyone else, everyone has their kind of formations in music. And I mean, it all kind of started with, I was one of the people who kind of was just kind of influenced from it, like from an early age, really. Just kind of like stuff people my dad listened to. That was more kind of stuff like Steely Dan and kind of older stuff like that. I ended up kind of inheriting his all his kind of records and stuff, which was also kind of a big kind of curve for me, because I kind of went back and listened to all that stuff. But yeah, I'd say electronic music wise, I kind of listened to kind of your typical kind of electronic music from kind of, I don't know, maybe 13, 14 upwards. But I'd say my kind of real kind of formative stage was when I kind of came down to uni, and this was kind of after I kind of played around with different genres, but I ended up working at this club called Junk, which was opening. I was told about it before I came down to Southampton, and ended up working there behind the bar for kind of like a year and a half. And it was just a real kind of cultural kind of hot spot. Like a lot of people you speak to in Southampton, they're really gutted that it's not kind of not here anymore. Closed down, unfortunately. But learned so much from that club, purely from behind the bar as well, which was a really kind of it was just a really nice perspective, because everyone was really nice, but obviously you had a really good, it was like really intimate club, and just learnt so much. It was more kind of people like Scream kind of had like an unofficial residency kind of there, which he spoke about a couple of times. People like Scream, Artwork, it was more that kind of scene, which I was into, but I learnt a lot about. But that was one of my kind of formative experiences, I'd say, in terms of respect for the culture, and just kind of generally seeing it from a different kind of angle. It gave me a kind of really insider angle. Like it was nice to kind of start seeing it not just from like a clubbing perspective, but like even though I was just kind of working on the bar, like I was part of the kind of behind the scenes kind of bit, and then I ended up moving from that to doing like writing for them for their website for a bit, basically, just kind of previews, reviews of events, stuff like that, and that's kind of what kicked everything off. So, and then from then, just the kind of behind the scenes stuff was what I started kind of getting more into, just the way everything runs and the kind of process behind the industry, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, of course.
That's pretty much what kind of inspired me to, like, I've loved the kind of DJing side and stuff as well, but I've become more and more kind of wanting to push others forward, whether it's through OnTheWax's kind of entities itself, or other labels and stuff that we work with on kind of press coverage or premieres or features or whatever. But it's really nice just kind of seeing other people do well, which is strange, but like obviously it's lovely.
The interesting thing about this is as well is that sort of very you see, I've obviously we know a lot of people who are DJs and musicians tend to work in venues a lot of the time. We know a lot of people tend to work behind the bar quite often because it kind of works in with the hours, it works in with that sort of general approach. But it's quite an interesting one that you've kind of almost found that more sort of niche for music writing through kind of working behind the bar and then extending that to working for a club website in regards to sort of previews and things like that. When you sort of first started doing the sort of preview side of things, did you ever think you'd be moving on to sort of running an independent platform which did realistically gain a lot of its reputation through the written side of things?
Yeah, it's a weird one. Like I was kind of almost I wasn't doing them at the same time. I mean, OnTheWax kind of came after that, but I don't know if you remember, it actually started off as this, it was called Soren Sound, which was a kind of not kind of short-lived because it did turn into OnTheWax, but that was the first kind of thing. It was very much like a personal, it was a personal blog, literally, as many people do. I was kind of just looking for somewhere I needed somewhere to put kind of, not necessarily particular thoughts, but I just wanted somewhere to put words, basically, and that was the perfect way for me to kind of put across my kind of passion for music at the time. And I was just kind of doing my own like track summaries, and I'm pretty sure Soren Sound was when we did a South Point feature a while ago now. Yeah. We did one with 140 as well. Back, I can't remember what the feature was called. It was just like a kind of a label interview feature, and yeah, that kind of just started off. I honestly can't remember what kind of made me kind of change the name and stuff. I think I've always kind of not liked keeping things too personal, basically.
Yeah, I mean, this is the interesting thing, I think, as well, to kind of transition out of your platform being very much a personal blog to it being essentially a brand, which is quite interesting more than anything else. Like, how did you find that process of people kind of hitting you up to do, like, people going, oh, would you mind reviewing this? Would you mind doing a feature on this? Like, how did you find that at first?
Yeah, honestly, that's probably still the thing that kind of I enjoy kind of most. It's like I love the kind of the final product, obviously, and I love seeing it out there, and I love kind of seeing people kind of react to it and read it and getting feedback on it. But I think the thing I love the most, going back to the kind of behind the scenes thing, is like I just love kind of getting that kind of first initial email, setting up the interview, like firing emails back and forth with label heads and stuff like that. That's the kind of thing that, like, it's nice kind of stepping into that kind of role where you're on the email list, you're kind of deemed kind of enough of a part of kind of enough of a cog, if you will, to kind of get this kind of stuff through and kind of do this kind of you can help people out, which is really nice. That's something that I'll kind of always be kind of privileged to do. Like, it's the just being a kind of part of the industry really is what I'm kind of enjoying. Just keeping the dialogue up, and like I kind of see, sometimes I see kind of various kind of points on Twitter and stuff. People have kind of spoken of like a tiny bit of kind of like, not like a disconnect between kind of press and an artist and stuff, but it's kind of they do the press and then it's kind of like there's a gap until the next release, and the kind of norm isn't really to kind of continue that dialogue, whereas what I'm trying to do with OnTheWax is keep up the dialogue kind of in between. Like we just started working with a label called Lost Recordings, and really kind of loving what they're doing. I'm kind of invested in it, and we're constantly kind of firing kind of ideas back and forth and keeping each other updated. And like, it's a weird one with OnTheWax. I don't really feel under any pressure to go any certain way. Like if I'm enjoying kind of being invested in labels like cultural kind of entities like South Point and 140, for example, who are always pushing through like new artists, new like cultures and stuff, and then just imprints across kind of like drum and bass and stuff is, yeah, man, something I'm really enjoying. Kind of just being like writing, but also kind of really being invested in what I'm writing about, basically, which I think is kind of important for OnTheWax. Is kind of like a personal thing to me, anyway.
There we go. I mean, I can tell this is something you really, really do care about, because I've only had to ask 3 questions, and we're already halfway through this interview, which is brilliant.
Yeah, there's a lot to speak about.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. I think more than anything else, I haven't really had many sort of more sort of written platforms on here, which is definitely something I'd like to do more, purely because obviously you see a lot of music, and you're one of the people that people are kind of going, oh, would you like to feature this, or would you like to feature that? Like, do you find yourself almost being a little bit ahead when it comes to music coming towards you?
I mean, it's always something I've been actively trying to not like accomplish, but it's something I've like, don't know whether it's kind of I get a kick out of it, whatever, but I've always loved putting people kind of onto stuff. I think that's something I enjoy, and I think that's something that as a blog or as a writer or whatever, that's something you need to be on the pulse of what you're writing about. You need to always be, as you're finishing off an article, or even if you're halfway through writing an article, you need to be kind of, something needs, like, sometimes stuff crops up and like my notes are full of just new ideas, new kind of article ideas, people that I want to work with and stuff. And it's nice now that kind of you can, I'm in the position where I can write something down and then actively go and pursue that and kind of achieve that. Like kind of what you said about putting people, the kind of next big thing, like we run this new blood feature, which is kind of probably my favourite feature to do, and what we get kind of like our biggest reception on basically is kind of, I've got kind of a very selective list of people that I think are kind of going to do the kind of biggest stuff out of who I'm kind of really interested in. So like in the past, we've had like Hamdi on, like New Bass, who are obviously doing really big things. We've just had Deadman on, and then we've just finished one up with Disruptor, who's he's going to be ridiculous in the drum and bass scene, and he's someone that I didn't think we kind of I thought he'd maybe have bigger stuff locked in, or he'd kind of be holding out, but he was absolutely lovely, really up for it, and that's something I kind of really like kind of doing, because it's press is still new, I feel, to artists who are coming through. Like they're now being pushed kind of further than ever, and they're getting flung into the spotlight, and press is, which is amazing, obviously, but press is still kind of a separate entity to that. I feel like your first, I guess you might always kind of remember like your first interview or whatever, just because it's kind of you're brought up with the kind of the press, I guess, and to get to do that is, I think it's still kind of like a big thing, and I think it's important to obviously print journalism is kind of struggling a bit right now with obviously everything kind of moving online and stuff, and like obviously I've known people who have run blogs in the past and have kind of would rather put their kind of time into other things. But I think it's definitely important to keep all that stuff going and just keep crafting and giving people a
definitely,
platform,
man.
Really.
I think with this is something that I did kind of want to touch on with you as well, because obviously, as I was saying, you're someone who is very much kind of one of the kind of, I don't want to say go-to because that kind of diminishes it a bit, but you're one of the platforms that people look to get on in their sort of promo campaign. And I did want, and obviously we're discussing here that press is still very much an important part of the process. And I think in regards to the way things are sort of laid up, like how important to you, if you were to be releasing music like for someone else, how important would that press process be? Like what, like getting involved with interviews and things like that, like how important is that to kind of not necessarily selling a release but making people aware of a release?
I think it's I still think it should be an essential part of any press campaign, really. I think that should be one of your kind of port of calls for it. Just shows you that like you can, even though like in the great scheme of things, OnTheWax is still kind of fairly new, like we can provide like a different audience, like a kind of different viewpoint, like it's just something entirely different to it's just another string to the bow of a kind of a press campaign, really. It's always been very kind of important from back in the day, like with kind of more old school genres to now. Obviously it's a whole different kind of landscape, but I feel like maybe the blogging side of things might be kind of creeping back in a bit in terms of like I think more people start to do it. Like obviously you're seeing a lot of success with like 3000. There is more kind of like websites cropping up, and kind of what I'm enjoying at the moment, and I think why people are kind of sticking with us and coming to us is we are offering a bit of a kind of different thing to some of the other platforms. Like something I've really tried to knuckle down on is like premieres. Like I remember doing the first one, I think it was now defunct, I think it was Albsy's old label, like You What Blood Records or something like that, and not run anymore. But I remember them like taking a punt. I think that was back when it was Soren Sound, and I remember them taking a punt on us to like premiere. And I remember doing that first one, and now we're kind of like 80 or so down the line, having kind of done stuff with like Metalheads and Roscoe Kicks and Snares and 140 and stuff, and it's kind of nice to kind of offer that, but then also have the kind of written side. There's a lot of kind of platforms that will kind of
do one or the other, like, more so.
Yeah, they'll put the premiere out, and then but it's nice to kind of be able to hit that kind of that personal note, because I guess they know the kind of effort's gone in. So I think it's definitely, and having seen, I did an internship at a company up in Shepherd's Bush called Your Army, who do like music promo for loads of artists, from like Cortinas to Dimension to they were doing Energy by Avellino, Skepta and Stormzy when I was there, just loads of different stuff. And it was like that side of things was I was kind of more reaching out to press, putting together packs for kind of mix mag and stuff, and that kind of, I was like, right then I was like, I need to be on like these kind of lists basically. And now I kind of last like 2 months, I'd say, since we've like got all the artwork redone and got everything kind of toned up really, it's now kind of just getting loads of stuff in the inbox. Like that's one of the reasons I started doing it, was getting those tunes that obviously it's on a press basis, but just getting them through, knowing that I kind of, it's a kind of select kind of few that that's always pushed me on to kind of do the next thing. And that's been something that's kind of been nice. Definitely getting tunes that are just kind of exclusively has always been the kind of a big plus for me, for sure.
I think obviously with establishing yourself as OnTheWax, and I think more than anything else, we've seen a lot of projects kind of come and go. You know, we all, as you said, there's a lot of them creeping in, but there seems to be quite like a process with like written content where people will pop up for like a year or so, maybe lose a bit of interest, and then sort of drop off. With yourself, like I think I mean you've been going now for quite an extended period of time. Like as long as South Point's been around, I always kind of remember you being involved.
Yeah, for a kind of we've definitely been kind of going for that. I've taken kind of various kind of it's taken me a while to kind of get to this point. I've had various kind of times off. At one point I was definitely close to kind of not like sacking it off at all, but kind of I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with it kind of in its kind of current form. Basically, I needed to, as I said earlier, with the kind of people focusing on hobbies in lockdown, I needed to re-energize it. Like I needed to just get the priorities on point and stuff. And at that point, we were kind of like putting out a premiere every so often, and I was just kind of doing different stuff, basically, just kind of concentrating on uni and stuff like that and working. But yeah, now I definitely feel like I'm in kind of like another kind of like I spoke about the formative phase at Junk. Like I feel like I'm kind of in another formative phase at the moment with it, just in terms of the people we're working with, and so I'm kind of hoping. Like I've never seen so much kind of growth, and in terms of like the effort that I'm putting into it. Like I just realised that kind of now I'm putting in a load of effort. Like the growth has been ridiculous over the past like. Maybe it's people being more kind of at home and stuff, but just in terms of like, it's just one big snowball effect.
Yeah,
like,
I think
with a new press outlet, it's mad.
I think the thing with this as well is, and I think it's a combination of trust and establishment. I feel with written content more than anything else, because what you're trying to do is basically to an extent make people trust your opinion on things, and make people trust that the articles you're putting out there are worth reading because it will benefit them in some way. And that is something that does take time. It's something that obviously we look to places like Mix Mag and Complex and Fact and places like this who are like the super players in this game. They're almost like the major labels of this kind of side of things.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think obviously to get platforms that are to keep platforms up and running and keep the motivation going and find the time to continuously invest in them. Obviously, the little costs like keeping site maintenance up, and then and SoundCloud kind of premium stuff, and just in general keeping it afloat for an extended period of time. I think the longevity definitely plays a hand in kind of that trust and establishment kind of mindset. And I think with OnTheWax as well, you have, even though there's been sort of hiatuses and stuff like that, it's never been a brand that's disappeared. You know, it's something we've still seen quite consistently. It's something that we've still kind of had in our eyesights as fans of the genres you work in. So I think that process there is probably now why after kind of so long you're starting to see this major snowball, because it's almost like the switch kind of flips, and people kind of go, yeah, to be honest, they've been around for ages. It's probably worth looking at what they're doing, and then enough people do that, and it starts to grow. So I've got to say, hats off, sir. Hats off for being so consistent.
Cheers, man. Yeah, it's something I'm definitely trying to get like really on point now, because like all I can do with the growth at the moment is use it as inspiration to kind of push on, and that's just going to allow me to do more features, take not risks, but like it's going to allow me to do different stuff, which is kind of, I'm basically just working on populating loads of different stuff, starting up like a well-being, like mental health and stuff is very close to my heart, so we're putting a kind of dedicated area on the site for it, which is just going to be kind of like connected articles, but like also kind of like mainly connected to the music industry, because obviously it's a very kind of prevalent issue at the moment, which will be kind of interviews with artists who have been kind of open with it. Obviously we did the a couple of years back now, I think it was kind of like a one-off. One of my uni mates did the kind of mental health themed interview with Bush Baby, which is still pinned on our Facebook page, I think, just because of how how nice the kind of comments were and stuff like that. But yeah, working to populate that kind of side of things at the moment, and just getting all our new features up and running. Just locked in we're doing like an industry insight feature with Neuron Pro Audio, who are run like the Void at Outlook and the Temple at Glastonbury. So more kind of behind the scenes stuff, as well as kind of your upfront kind of music and stuff like that. Lots more interviews, just getting everything kind of up and running, really, man. Definitely exciting.
It's really exciting, man. Like, I think just from like a kind of fan's perspective, and obviously we've worked together multiple times on different things over the years, and it's kind of just from like a fan of what you do, that sort of perspective, it's been awesome to see the growth, and it's been awesome to kind of see just how kind of integral to the different scenes you're involved in you've become, and it's been awesome to hear you speak about it as well, because I've just kind of been sat here listening more than anything else, which has been great. I've almost had like a half an hour.
I've never really kind of spoken about it before, so I mean, I thought it was going to go. I was listening to Murder Who Wrote speak earlier, because I've obviously had that on beforehand, and I was like, I've absolutely no idea how I'm going to speak for this long, but then I've pretty much spoken. It's just like a 20-minute block. So
it's been great though, man. It's been great though, man. And definitely, I think I'm kind of in a position now with this channel where I'm looking to kind of get as many collaborations popping as possible, get as many people on sort of regular basis as possible. And obviously, we do a lot of reaction videos on the channel to different sort of genres and primarily more sort of drill and UK rap and grime and things like that.
I've been watching a few.
But I think, thank you, sir. I think what I might try to do in the near future, if it's something you'd be interested in doing, I'm asking you live on air, so don't feel pressured at all. But something I would be quite interested in doing moving forward is kind of looking at doing kind of more electronic music reviews, but live, like reacting to sort of albums live, like that sort of thing. It's definitely something I'd be quite keen to do. If you'd be interested in jumping on the line with me to do one day.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'd be keen to do kind of semi-regular kind of that, but as well I'd love to do kind of like a semi-regular kind of general update kind of vibes kind of thing.
Definitely.
Just because I know we're involved in connecting scenes, but like you're very active in the kind of especially I feel like you personally like really the kind of like production wise, like the 140 stuff and like the grime instrumentals and stuff. Obviously you do all the kind of all that kind of stuff with Southpoint and your personal stuff, and then I kind of dip into that a lot, but I'm now kind of focusing a lot on kind of the drum and bass stuff and the kind of 160 stuff quite a lot. So it'd be cool to kind of definitely do a kind of few kind of crossovers and stuff like that.
Definitely, man. Well, we're going to finish up the show there. We've got one tune to play from yourself that you sent over. This one comes to us from Prozac. Talk to me about this tune. This one is Let You Know the Ayala. Is it Alia?
Alia, yeah. Yeah, mate. Honestly, when I was releasing it, I had to make sure I knew how to say it, because I've been saying it various different ways for a while. Yeah, man. This is one of my favourite tunes that we've put out. Did really well when we put it out. At the time, Prozac was just getting into the Kiwi Cup that's finished now. Got all the way to the final, absolutely killing it. Yeah, really does justice to the original, I find. Like, really nice kind of sampling. Fits exactly with what I love about the kind of what's happening with UK garage at the moment. Like, you know what I mean, so many people killing it, and I think this is a really kind of worthy addition to he's gonna, yeah, like I can see him doing huge things with, like, over the next year. I can imagine he'll end up in kind of conductors camp for sure. So really nice kind of summer vibes. Fits nicely with today's weather anyway.
There we go. Perfect way to round off the show then, guys. It's been great to kind of talk to you this morning, and obviously we're going to probably look at doing some more sort of regular features. So yeah, thanks for coming on the show, my friend. Let's have a bit of a clap up.
Thanks for having me, man. Cheers.
There we go. Good stuff. So we're going to finish up the show there. Thank you to everyone who's been locked in this morning. If you are locked in via the normal via the YouTube, or if you're locked in via the podcast. If you are locked in via the YouTube, you can check out the podcast, as you can see in the top right-hand corner. Just search Breakfast with KXVU, the interviews on Spotify, Apple Music, or SoundCloud, and you'll be able to check out the just the interview sections from there. As well as that, if you want to check out myself on socials, you can go to @KXVU on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and SoundCloud as well. They're the links for those. Cal, I completely forgot to ask yourself, what's the best social media tag for On The Wax and yourself?
At On The Wax on Instagram, and I believe we're at On The Wax Mag on Twitter, but like On The Wax you'll find us about, and www.onthewax.com, and the On The Wax on SoundCloud as well.
There we go.
Always bringing the goods.
That's what I like to see. One more final word from our sponsors. Of course, this show is directly sponsored by Sharpen Digital, a social media agency that do basically give you the alternative to hiring social media managers. Amazing company. They helped me a lot with this channel, the growth, and the continued growth in following as well. So there we go. We're going to finish up there. One time, though, if you are locked in, please do hit that subscribe button, throw like on the video as well. And yeah, we're going to finish up with this one. We'll see you next time. We're back same time tomorrow morning. We're going to be joined by Sammy Vergi and Invert Era, so it's going to be a great show. Don't go anywhere. Keep it locked. Cubcam TV, and we're out here. Bliss.